Hello and welcome to part 2 of Arcs, and this time it's Arcs in Twelveth Night. So just to give a quick recap, last video on Arcs we had, here's a poor girl living with her step family, here's her not being invited to the ball, here's her getting to the ball, here's her arriving at the ball and being triumph, having to leave, here's her leaving her shoe and the prince going everywhere and the prince finding her. And here's them living and getting, and there's the shoe fitting, and there's them getting married happily ever after. So we have the heading for the climax, very near the end. Keep doing that, very near the end. And here is, we have climaxes along the way, or climactic moments along the way. So that's quite a simple storyline because there's only one plot in Cinderella. So if we apologies for the youth of you because I want to talk about Friends as one I know very well, but I know not everyone knows Friends, so you'll have to just substitute any sitcom with a lot of characters and a lot of different plots going on at the same time. So if we take Friends, here are 6 friends who live in New York City. And here's Ross and Rachel. They get together. They split up, they get together, they split up, they meet other people, oh dear, they get together again, they have a baby. She goes to Paris, will they meet? She gets off the plane right at the very end. But to complicate things, I also have, going along, it's not the story of, or just the story of Ross and Rachel. Here we have Chandler's love life, this one, that one, meets Monica, can they get a baby? They adopt, they get their babies, they adopt them, they move out to the suburbs. Monica, she's got this relationship, that relationship, the guy with the moustache, and she joins up with the Chandler. Monica and Chandler. You might have Phoebe. Let me get a different colour for Phoebe. She's got that colour. Here she is. She's got this relationship, that relationship. Who knows what? She's got triplets. She meets Mike, or they get together. They split up. They get together, and she marries Mike. So lots of intertwining plots going on. And there's a bit where Rachel gets together with Joey as well, isn't there? So there's the arc of the whole programme, but you might be asked, you might be given an extract there, and you might have one, or you might need to write about all 4 stories. There might be a dominant one in your extract, and you have to give that an arc. You have to see it in the arc of the whole thing. Sorry, I've messed up Phoebe's arc now. And you have to give it its own arc within, just within that episode. And in Friends, it could be an episode, couldn't it? And you write about what goes on in that episode and what the climax of that episode is within the arc of all the storylines. So how does all this sort itself out? Sorry, I can't even think of words there. How does all this work with Twelveth Night? I'll take draw off and then I can go, and then that's it. Let's do Twelveth Night here. So you need to know all the plots really well, but there are 2 main plots of Twelveth Night. I don't like that orange colour. There are 2 main plots and maybe 2 other plots as well. So what a lot of people consider the main plot is, here's a duke who's wooing the local countess, and she's not available, and here's a shipwrecked noblewoman falling in love with the duke. She gets sent to woo the woman he's in love with for him, who falls in love with her, and she gets sent between the 2 of them. And the countess thinks she's married her, well, she clearly hasn't. And then she meets her brother, and she gets to marry Orsino, and everything's good. That's very hard to actually say. Sorry about that one. At the same time, subplot, nice blue, the Malvolio plot. Here it starts just slightly later, doesn't it? Here is a servant who really wants to move up in the world, and he pompously goes and tells his social superiors to be quiet. They get revenge on him by tricking him into wearing yellow stockings. He goes and tries to woo Olivia with yellow stockings, gets put in a jail, comes out of his jail, confronts Olivia. It's not her handwriting. It wasn't her. He'll be revenged on the whole lot of you. That's Malvolio one. Now, the other tinier plots are for me. Which one would you like? Which one do you want? That one. Sir Andrew. Meanwhile, Sir Toby is saying to Sir Andrew, gulling him, "You're in with a chance with Olivia. Come and, live the high life with me, and I'll get you in with her, and you can marry her." So there's a tricking scene where he says, "Go and try and impress Maria," and then Sir Andrew gets dejected and says, "Oh, Olivia's more interested in the Count's serving man than she is with me." And so Toby says, "Go and challenge the Count's serving man, Cesario, to a duel." And we have the duel. And then Sir Andrew decides to go and fight Cesario again. But it turns out to be Sebastian, and he runs onto the stage and he's injured. And Toby says to him, "Oh, you're just a gull. I never had any time for you anyway." And he just leaves. He's got hardly any ending at all. He just gets told to leave by Sir Toby. Whoops. There. That's that one. The other one almost doesn't really count as a subplot, but I quite like it, so I'm putting it in this green. We have Malvolio putting down Feste, and Feste being there when Malvolio tries to put down Sir Toby. Then Feste sort of ducks out of it, but does appear back in that trick in order to humiliate and bewilder Malvolio, pretending to be a priest, Sir Topaz. And then at the end, he gets to say, "That was me. That's Sir Topaz. I was the one who really put you down, and I've won." And that's sort of the end. And Feste gets to finish off the play. It's not really the plot. So at any given scene that you get, you might get one that's just got that plot in it, and you make that into an arc while seeing it in the shape of the whole arc. Or you might get one that's got two. Or this one, you're talking about the four lovers. What colour was that? That was here. But it's come just after a scene where you've had a Malvolio scene. It flips between Malvolio and the four lovers quite a bit. So you're going to need to talk about the different mood. We've got the satire and the aristocrats, and we've got the more playful trickery of the Malvolio plot. And suppose you get given, you've got to write about this bit here, the fact that the scene before was that bit. You've got to know exactly how the plots interweave with each other and see it all and yet be able to see the entire arc. Well, I hope you feel all right about that. So your paragraph one, just to reiterate, paragraph one is suppose you're given this bit, where does that fit in the whole play? And what has just happened? So where are the audience and what's it preparing you for? Paragraph two is the arc of this little bit you've been given. So that's your episode arc, the bit you've been given, make that into an arc. And then all the other paragraphs are on stage, the entrances and exits, the features of comedy, the surprises, the way the power goes from one character to another character taking over, how the action shifts, all that other stuff goes in there. Good luck, everybody.